Alright, we're back at it again. Are we really back at it again? Well, I gotta fix my chair, bro. I hate when that happens. And voila. Alright, let's get it.
Cultural critics like the Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic have dubbed the show lore-breaking for its recent revelations, but their commentary isn't productive. Rather, it encourages bigotry and hatred over a show that's just getting started.
What? It encourages bigotry and hatred over a show that's just getting...
I've watched, well, right now I'm watching Nerdrotic, but I've also seen Critical Drinker, and these two sound like very genuine Star Wars fan. And the fact that they've butchered Star Wars to this level, I completely understand their outrage and why they would say what they say about a video. Not the video, sorry, about the show.
started.
What the fuck? Power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
Oh man, that's a good intro. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
The power of two. The power of many.
Nerdrotic.com.
I didn't want to make this video, but considering the events of the last week where we found out that the Acolyte isn't ruining Star Wars, we are, and that's the royal.
I mean, honestly, bro, like, truth of the matter is, again, first of all, it's not the fan that receive over millions of dollars to create or give their idea as to how Star Wars should be. I mean, based off of the previous episodes of Star Wars, you should already you should have already understood exactly what the fans want. But rather, you go ahead and make this dog shit, right? With millions of dollars that was given to you to create a good Star Wars, and now you're blaming the fan. I'm not a big Star Wars fan. Okay, don't. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I know all about Star Wars. And no. But based off of the videos that I've seen, based off of the reaction of people who are big fan of Star Wars, they hate it. And the fact that they hate it, I can agree with them. Why? Because again, they understand Star Wars far better than I do, you know, and they're blaming us rather than taking responsibility for what they themselves created. It's ludicrous to me how they're so, God, think that they're so above everybody that they can't make any mistakes. No. It's you. You're the problem, not them. It's you. It's crazy to me how, just wild.
By the way, the 14% audience score should be embarrassing for the reviewers and apparently the Critical Drinker and yours truly through our reviews of a poorly written streaming show are fostering hatred and bigotry. Keeping all that in mind,
I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. As a black person, because I like to make the claim that, oh, it's racism, that's why you guys are review bombing this and stuff like that. And again, the example was given is, okay, why did Black Panther do so good? There's a lot of African movies out there that do good. Not necessarily, I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people definitely did probably review bomb it simply because there's a black lady. But that's not the reason, okay? They've introduced pronouns into Star Wars. Pronoun, bro. A they. That's not even like, oh my, hey, oh God. Seriously, it's like my whole schooling just went down, like that. My English class just went down the drain. Why? Because we can now use the word they to refer to one person, by the way. If I was to go back to school and tell my teacher, by the way, I'm gonna use they to refer to one person, that teacher would just look at me like, yeah, if you put that on your report, if you put that on your paper, I'm gonna fail you right away.
I have decided to reconsider and apologize for nothing. Let's talk about the Acolyte.
That's right, stand your ground.
Episode 4. Previously on the Acolyte.
You lost your entire family. Your mothers, your sister.
I carried them. I created them.
She don't even look like them, bro. I swear to God, I haven't even seen a single episode. But based off of everything that I've heard, I can already it's as if I've watched it. Okay. Oh my God, it is brutal. It's brutal out there, bro. The reviews, people making videos about how bad this show is. Whew, my God. By the way, in case you don't know what it is that she's talking about, I created them and I carried them. Yeah, 2 women having a baby, by the way, even though that's biologically impossible. But hey, it's Star Wars, right? Fantasy. Still, even in fantasy, you have to try to make it, although it's fantasy, you also have to be realistic, you know? But clearly, living in the 21st century in America, all that shit is out the door because nowadays 2 women can have a baby, whatever the hell that means, even though that's biologically impossible. But hey, I'm just a nobody in his apartment making videos that nobody's probably gonna watch, but hey, let's watch it.
The power of one. The power of two. The power of many.
Who the hell wrote this off, bro? I'm sorry for pausing this so much, but holy freaking A, this thing is just so cringe, bro.
Where is their father?
They have no father.
You are not.
Ascension is about walking through fear. It is about sacrificing a part of yourself, the power of many, instead of the power of one.
Time to die.
The Acolyte episode 4 is thankfully
Yeah, like I said, I've never seen it, but based off of that other scene I just passed, I heard that guy had the force around him. Well, I've seen some videos of him having the force around him, and she couldn't penetrate that force. And later, she ended up giving him poison. I don't know exactly how the exchange happened, and he takes the poison and dies. Wow, so powerful. Oh man, that is exactly what we needed. I mean, like I said, not a big Star Wars fan, but god damn, that is freaking terrible, bro. That is the dumbest way to kill somebody.
a very short 27 minutes and 11 seconds, not counting the previously on in credits, which quite frankly isn't enough to review, but thanks to the Acolyte's lead actress Amanda Stenberg providing us with some bonus content, now there is. The Acolyte episode 4
I ain't gonna lie, she pretty. I'll give you that, boo-boo. You are,
A is filled with slow-moving establishing shots, multiple exposition scenes, characters slowly walking down hallways or slowly walking up to doors, characters talking to each other and not making much sense, and we're gonna skip all that. It opens up with an establishing shot of planet Gobbledygook where we find the Wookiee cooking and possibly investigating the lesbian space witches. Man,
I'm trying to figure out how they created a baby.
at least we get to see a Jedi Wookiee fight, right? Can't wait for that. This is followed by a scene with Osha, who was coincidentally Osha trained to put out fires in space, crushing on X-23. And
Fire in... Oh, sorry. No, I was thinking of... my bad. I was just thinking like, how is there fire in space? There's no oxygen to lit the fire, but...
And who couldn't see this coming with a Disney Star Wars product? Two young girls crushing on each other after roughly 4 minutes of screen time together. Now, to be fair to the House of Mouse, if they break up next episode, it checks out. Jedi Master Nepo does some girl bossing and quickly assesses that May was trained by a Jedi. How? From this hologram. The nepotism is strong with this one, but I'm not really sure how she figured it out. Maybe it was these awesome Jedi moves. Then Jedi Master Nepo spends the rest of the scene trying to figure out what the hell Jedi Master Soul is saying.
May's objective is not solely her own.
Bruh, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. When you win Squid Game, bro, you were at the peak of your fame, bro. He was at the peak, and now you gotta have this on your reputation. Oof. Oh, good luck getting out of this one.
And despite absolutely nothing happening in this episode, Leslie Headland wouldn't want to miss an opportunity to once again take George Lucas's lore to Harvey's couch. Hey, remember the guy who said this in The Phantom Menace?
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
This is Jedi Master Conehead, or Ki-Adi-Mundi, who wasn't supposed to be born at this time until, of course, Disney Star Wars decided to retroactively destroy more lore. And honestly, that's the least of this scene's problems, because apparently there's a deleted scene out there where, after saying that the Sith have been extinct for a millennium,
You can tell this guy is a huge nerd, bro. I mean, look at all these action figures behind him, bro. Like, holy crap, bro. Jeez. Golly. That's why I said, man, I agree, you know, whatever he has to say about Star Wars, I agree with him, because oh god, that's a lot. That is a lot of action figure.
there's a deleted scene out there where, after saying that the Sith have been extinct for a millennium, he follows that up with, except for that time we ran across a coven of lesbian space witches where two of them managed to conceive twin daughters without a father, who incidentally didn't look anything like them.
You know, it's funny because I heard a comment, right, that even in space, as a black parent, the dad is still not around, bro. I'm sorry, that is just freaking wild. Like, wow. I didn't even think about that, but that is crazy to me, man.
Their mother, I mean, where are the horns? But they were created by this thing called the Thread. So that really dark lord-looking dude carrying around a red lightsaber who trained May couldn't possibly be a Sith. It's not important. Please keep in mind this is the same Disney Star Wars that's been destroying George Lucas's lore for years and doing things like having Han Solo walk into a lightsaber, Luke Skywalker overdosing on the Force, Princess Leia died, not really sure how. Somehow, Emperor Palpatine returned, and their one-hit series is a repurposed Boba Fett and a repurposed Yoda. And when they got around to doing a Boba Fett series, they made him Boba Fett.
And I tried to cut back on the beers so the stomach wouldn't be out too far.
And then there's Obi-Wan Kenobi, whose sole purpose was to watch Luke Skywalker until Disney Star Wars got a hold of him, and he decides to fuck off twice to fight Darth Vader twice and not mention it later, meet a toddler Princess Leia that Princess Leia fails to mention later, and the Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi had a real hard time getting through a gate he could clearly walk around, and Ahsoka being alive to usurp Luke Skywalker time getting through.
I can understand vehicles, but brother, I mean, is it really that hard to move this or that? I don't know, a little high, or yeah, just move it, you know. Anyway, maybe they were low on budget.
A gate he could clearly walk around, and Ahsoka being alive to usurp Luke Skywalker's story. In other words, it's on brand for modern Disney Lucasfilm. Anyway, Sol and Jedi Master Nepo devise a plan to once again use Osha as bait to draw out May. And this brings us to the most poignant scene in all of the Acolyte, the use of pronouns in live-action Disney Star Wars.
Is he or they with us?
Wow. That deserves an Oscar right there, man. Such beautiful performance. Exactly what we needed. We just gotta go ahead and, you know, sprinkle a little bit of delusion in there as well.
And the rest of the 27-minute episode is spent with the clueless Jedi in a race to get to Kelnaka, the Wookiee Jedi, before Asian Ezra Miller and May. Then we get a heel turn that might give you whiplash. May is good now. You heard me right.
I don't need to do this anymore. I don't need to kill a Jedi without a weapon. I don't need to keep this deal. What? Osha being alive changes everything. My loyalty is to Osha, not your master. What I'm going to do is to...
Yeah, and I heard she tried killing her sister Osha, by the way. And now all of a sudden she's loyal to her. And she's gonna turn herself in. God, dude, I think somebody was on crack when they were writing this story, man. Because, god dang, this thing is just, oh, brother.
Surrender myself to Kelnaka, and then turn myself into the Jedi.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
And this shouldn't surprise anyone. Nobody thought that diverse female antagonist was actually going to be evil. Of course she's going to be oppressed somehow, and her actions will be justified, even being responsible for the death of 2 Jedi.
Down with the patriarchy.
And leave it to a Disney Star Wars Gen Z villain to give up on.
My question is, how the heck did she convince that dude to drink that? I mean, I don't just pick up random, like, I don't. Okay, let me go ahead and collect my thought here so I can put this as clear as possible. I will not grab a random drink from a random person that I've never met and just look them in the eye and just straight throw that bad boy down my throat. I'm sorry. That just makes absolutely no sense. Okay, naturally, that just makes no sense. Okay, no human being would think that that is something that is normal. It's not. God, make it again. It's fantasy. I get it, but just try to make it as real as possible, but with a little bit of laser and spaceship and flying cars and you name it. Like, come on, man.
Revenge because it's hard. This brings us to Kelnaka, the Jedi Wookiee, arguably the most compelling thing about this series. It would have been awesome to see him fight, right? Well, he dies off screen. And what was the reason we didn't get to see a Jedi Wookiee fight? The budget. Listen, guys, they only had $180 million. What do you expect? And after
that's what I was saying, right? $180 million was given to them to make this show, right? They had the money. So instead of taking responsibility for all the mistakes that they did in the movie and the way they butchered everything, instead of taking responsibility, they instead turn around and say, wait a minute, we made the movie. We added everything. The movie is good. It's your fault that the movie is bad. Not us. We made it. But it's your fault. That's like your wife cooking for you and the cooking is bad. And then she says, no, it's not my fault the cooking is bad. It's your fault because you don't like the taste of it. It makes no sense. Oh, brother.
Sitting through 27 minutes and 11 seconds of an episode that felt like it was 2 hours long, you would think this Disney Star Wars intricately written story would lead to something after we had two girls crushing on each other, pronouns in space, and a Wookiee Jedi killed off screen. Nah, Smilo Ren shows up and pushes a bunch of Jedi. And the big mystery to the 5s and 10s of people who are actually interested in the show is, who is Smilo Ren? Is it Asian Ezra Miller? It could be, but I'm leaning towards something like this.
Honestly, I can see it too. You know? I can definitely see it because we definitely need more female, strong, independent female out there. You know what I mean? And what's a good way to introduce one in the show and get up even more for everybody than this right here? You know what I mean? Just take that mask off and let it be a woman. Yeah. You know, I got nothing against women, by the way. But sometimes they just like to shove that shit down their throat, okay? That strong boss thing is just, ugh. Yeah. Another one.
Credit to Disney Star Wars for not making it.
That's how they think they're smart, okay? They want to give us the idea that this person is strong, very powerful. With the mask on, by the way, very powerful. When they have set it up to where you yourself is convinced that, oh my God, this person is so powerful. I want to be just like this person. They're so strong. I wonder who it is. What kind of man can this be? You know, or what kind of Jedi or what kind of superhero can this be? They take off the mask and it ends up being a woman to sell you the idea that women can do what man can. Dude. You know, when you put something in a movie and you try to convince people in a movie with something, you also have to implement that in the real world. Okay. Here's what I mean by that. Arm wrestling. We see a lot of arm wrestling videos. You don't see men and women arm wrestling in the competition. You don't see it. That's one. Two, right? Slapping. Okay? You see there's slapping videos. Slapping competition. You don't see a man and a woman slapping each other. You don't see that. They try to put it in the, not UFC, sorry. But I've seen some fights out there where it's a woman versus a man, right? And clearly we know the result of that, right? So what I'm trying to say is, what you're saying in a movie can only be in a movie. You can't really implement that in the real world. If you try to convince the population that women can be just like men, right? Let's say for the sake of argument, we accept that idea. If there's danger that happen, the females are going to revert back to their natural instinct and the men are gonna have to step up. That's how it's gonna be, no matter what. It doesn't matter how hard you try to sell us the idea that women can be like men. It will never work, ever. I mean, you see that? Truth of the matter is, it's easier for me to build muscle than a female would, especially when it comes to the upper body. Why? Because I'm a man. I'm built different. I have a stronger upper body than a female would. A female will work out the same length as me, but guess what? I would gain muscle far faster and become stronger than she would. Why? We're not the same. This is real life. This is not real.
An episode as bad as the previous. The good news with the Acolyte, we're halfway through the season. The bad news, we're only halfway through the season. And just when you think things couldn't get worse for Lucasfilm, they do. Series star Amandla Stenberg, who has the amazing ability to play two characters exactly the same way with the exact same haircut, decided to come out with a diss track against Star Wars fans. A diss track that Amandla feels so strongly about that she's copyright claiming absolutely everyone who posted on X or YouTube. In what's likely an industry first, a TV show star has written and released a song and a music video complete with dance moves in response to racist backlash against the show.
Okay, see, here's the thing, right? There are black people out there who also freaking hate this Star Wars film. There are black people out there who hate it. There are white people out there who hate it. Pretty much the fan comes in different colors and shapes and sizes. All that review bombing is not only white people. All that review bombing is not only black or Asian or Chinese or Mexican. It's not, right? But they have the audacity to say you are racist because you don't like the show. Okay? I guess what they're trying to say is racism is not defined by the way you define it, however that is. Rather, it's how they define it. And when you do something like that, it loses its meaning. Right? It loses its meaning because you can just use it however you want. It's so dumb. People don't like your show. People hate the movie. They don't like it. Rather than taking a step back and say, all right, guys, people don't like it. Let's find out why they don't like it so that way we can do something different. Instead, they want to go ahead and throw racism in it. They want to throw whatever word that they can get. Maybe they're going to later throw misogyny in there, right? And I think they've already thrown homophobic or bigot. They've already, thrown all these little buzzwords. There's still more coming, by the way. I guarantee you when the next episode drop and it's dog shit, there's going to be new buzzword that's going to be entering this their vocabulary. And mark my word, it's coming. Misogyny is probably the next one.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see.
Why? Because the majority of fan of Star Wars are men.
If it pays off for them.
A song with a chorus, and I quote, "We so bored, don't fuck with yo discourse." Yet, you made an entire song about it. Now, most of this song is in response to End Wokeness putting up an older interview with...
White people crying was the goal. Interesting. A minute. Stenberg, lead actress for the new Star Wars series.
Trevor Noah, where Amandla Stenberg says she wants to make white people cry. That had nothing to do with the Acolyte.
Oh, and by the way, again, see what I mean when I say they define what racism is, right? Because she could say that, and she wouldn't be considered as a racist. I mean, or not just a racist, sorry, a misogynist. She won't be considered as any of these. But it's you that's the problem, not them. It's you that's the problem because you hate the show. You're racist, by the way, because you don't like their cooking.
Because taking things out of context to support a narrative doesn't help anyone. I want you to remember that. Amandla Stenberg, the adult pretender who's worth $3 million, speaks mostly of oppression in her song, but she also says this. Speaking of which, journalists, I'm looking at you. Did you forget it's your job to provide the truth? Spreading divisiveness, mining the metrics and date. Seem you gave up on all your ethics for money and views, and I can tell you that people are tired. Yes, they are, because you can absolutely apply what you said there to Disney. the company you work for, and the kids don't trust anything they view.
You know, I'm sick and tired of people who are privileged throwing the, just acting like they are part of the poor people. Like, no, you grew up rich. You grew up in not the middle class, but the upper class. And you want to pretend to be poor. Why? Why not just accept who you are? Why not just accept the fact that you grew up in a very wealthy environment? You know? If that was me, I wouldn't be ashamed of that. I would say, yeah, I grew up in the gated community. I grew up in, wherever the rich place, Beverly Hills, or whatever you want to call it. I have no shame in that. My parents they made right choices in life. They became rich. They made money. And I grew up with that wealth. And I'm trying to make my own money based off of what I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's the fact that you're trying to create another image to appeal to the poor people. And it's like, we know your life. We know your life. And you can't really sell us the idea that you grew up poor, because somebody out there is going to dig and say, you actually went to a private school, you grew up in a gated community, you had your first Lamborghini at the age of, 18 when you got your license, and, you weren't poor. Somebody would dig it up. The internet is just vast. You can't escape from whatever it is that your past had. You just can't. So trying to claim that you were poor, if you didn't live that life, somebody's going to find it and somebody will call you out for it. And that's kind of what she's doing. And she's also saying she wants to make white people cry. Your dad is white. What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, for fuck's sake, dude. Get out of your fucking bubble and come to reality. All right? They like to throw these freaking buzzwords out there just to appeal to the gullible dumbasses out there who are like, oh my God, I sympathize with... God, dude, it's so annoying, bro.
And you're right, but you don't have to worry about that with the Acolyte because no kids are watching it. Another lyric from the song by adult pretender worth $3 million, Amandla Stenberg. And now you listening, I'ma tell you something fascinating. They spinning woke, bastardizing it, and appropriating it. Last I recall, woke was something we created. Did you create it, Amandla? Speak truth to power. I don't hate to break this to you, Amandla.
First of all, who's we?
And anyone else at Lucas.
I mean, is she talking from a perspective of a white person or from a perspective of a black person? Because the last time I checked, she's mixed. So who is this we that we're talking about? Again, I'm so freaking confused. This is one thing this is one thing about actors, bro. They're a bunch of hypocrites, right? They're a bunch of hypocrites. They have no morals. They have no spine. They got nothing to stand on. They shift with time. When something becomes popular, they get out of one shell that was popular in the past and they get into a new shell. This whole, it's so dumb. 10 years ago, this whole making white people cry or hating on white people, it wasn't as common. But when they start to implement that into this social media and TikTok and all of these things, it becomes something that actors want to pick up on. Why? Because they try to relate to the newer generation. And it's like, you're forgetting about the older generation who are seeing who you are. And they're going to call you out for it. And eventually the new generation are going to catch on. It's so annoying.
Film, because apparently you need to hear this again. You are the power. You work for one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world who owns ABC, ESPN, Hulu. They bought Fox for $72 billion. They're a little influential. They're also, and forgive me if you've heard this one before, the same company that thanked a concentration camp in China for Mulan, covered up Chadwick Boseman's face on the Black Panther poster for China, shrunk...
See, you know what I mean? Bunch of hypocrites. This is exactly... Look at this. Look at that. They removed the black guy when he was in China, and in America, they left the black guy. They got no spine. They're literally a bunch of freaking hollow shell walking around, just shifting wherever, whatever is most popular. I mean, let's be honest, bro. That's why I have no respect for any of these people. I really don't understand why people just, like, idolize these people, bro. It sickens. Okay? They don't even know who you are. They will never know who you are. To them, you're just somebody that they can make money off of. That's all you are to them.
Finn on the Force Awakens poster for China, a company well known for providing the discourse and gaslighting what's left of the divided fandom for years. Now, as far as Disney Star Wars is concerned, Amandla, you're just the latest shield they can hide behind to cover for a bad TV show. And your diss track takes things wildly out of context and conflates them to support a narrative, one that calls Star Wars fans, your potential paying customers, racist, which unfortunately is on brand for modern Disney. Here's how the game plan works. Preemptively attack your fans by calling them racist before your crappy show comes out. The show comes out, everyone says it's crappy. Continue to call the fans racist. One of the stars makes a video calling the fans racist. Access media articles are written in support of the actor calling the fans racist. And then the inevitable support from Disney or Star Wars or both calling the fans racist while supporting the actress. And please tell me when...
Hey, you know one thing that I freaking hate about people in general is the fact that we forget easily. Okay? Give him 1 or 2 months when this whole thing blows over. I guarantee you, people are gonna go right back to their normal life as if nothing happened, going and just spending their hard-earned money to put it in the pocket of the same people who called your ass racist, by the way, simply because you despise the shit that they made. Crazy to me. How, like, oh man. And I can give so many examples of so many messed up things that these so-called celebrities have said to you fans. And later down the line, you're right back to buying their stuff again. Because they know you're going to come back. You got nothing better to do with your money. In their mind, that's what they think. You got nothing better to do with your money. And they're going to make some kind of dog shit video or movie, right? They're going to get a little bit of backlash or massive backlash. A few months later, they're just going to come right back into the public scene. And you're going to forget it ever happened.
This has ever worked. The Acolyte is the Marvels of Star Wars.
That's why they keep getting away with this shit. Because you keep buying their shit. That's the truth. They're not going to make them if you don't watch them. They're not going to make it if you send a message out there and say, hey, if you don't change your way, we ain't buying your shit no more. And as long as you keep consuming their movies, you keep consuming the garbage that they keep putting out there, they're just going to keep doing it. All that review bombing, they don't care. They pretend they do, but they don't care. Why? Because they're going to keep doing it, and you're going to keep buying it constantly. They put this on Disney. How much is it? How much is the subscription for Disney every month? Yeah, let that sink in.
It was something that was predictably bad. We just didn't know how bad it would be. Recently, a Spaceballs sequel was announced, and it's well over a decade too late because Disney Star Wars is the parody. And as far as independent reviewers fostering hatred and bigotry, the only ones I see doing that are Disney.
Certainly, there have been times where, there's no way we're hiring a white male person.
Just kind of unspoken.
Again, these are the same people calling you racist. They're calling you racist. He just flat out said it. We're not going to hire a white man. In the past, we're not going to hire a black man or an Asian or a Mexican. Today, it's a white man. Tomorrow, it's probably going to be a Mexican. And they're calling you the racist.
Spoken.
There are times when it's spoken, but
How would they say it?
no way we're hiring a white male that's working.
Nerd erotic.
Thank you so much for stopping by. This video went on for too long, but God, dude, wake up. That's all I can say. Bye.